Good evening, basketball fans, and welcome to UMass Boston. We are still in the midst of this little bit of a non-conference run for the Beacons, and tonight they play host to the Vikings of Salem State University. Mason Stout alongside Max Clifford for this Tuesday night battle between Beaks and Vikings. And as we get this one ready to tip off in about 15 minutes' time, we take a look at the season statistics between these two sides, and the records obviously favor the Beacons so far. But what really stands out, Max, when you look at these side-by-side comparisons of the two sides, for me anyway, it's the points allowed.
Absolutely, yeah. I see a lot of points scored from both teams, and I think the difference in those records is how many points they're allowing. It's simple math. You're going to win a lot of games when you score 72.3 points per game, but not if you're allowing 81.1, and that's why they're 3-9 on the season right now.
Both these teams can certainly shoot the rock. Over 40% field goal percentage between the two sides, and both over 30% from downtown as well. Beacons with a slight edge in the rebounding category. A lot of that is because of Malik Lorquette, who has really taken his game to the next level this season, averaging 17 points and 12-plus rebounds per game. But you look at those turnover numbers, two teams that like to score and two teams that have a propensity to turn the basketball over to the opposition as well could run up this score to a very high number and certainly frustrate the coaches if they're coughing up the ball. Now we take a look at the season leaders for these two sides. And we talked about Malik Lorquette. There's that 17 and 12 that he averages. And on the other side, this is kind of a balanced attack for Salem State. Connor Byrne leads the way. We'll highlight our players to watch in just a moment. But you see Byrne there. He can hit from the free throw line as well, but only 69%. That's the team lead. So Salem State that can score the basketball, but they do have trouble from the charity stripe.
Yes, absolutely. They want to get those free ones, especially against a team like UMass Boston, which isn't going to give them a lot of chances from the field. They do have a little height down low, but Malik Lorquette's one of the best rim protectors as well as one of the best rebounders in the LEC. So they don't want to take any chances with those free ones.
Connor Byrne, like Malik Lorquette, leading his squad in both points and rebounds per game, with Emmanuel Zayas and Josiah Green leading the teams in assists, respectively. Before we take a look at the players to watch, we, of course, want to look back at the most recent non-conference battle for your Beacons men's basketball team as they took down the Lions of Eastern Nazarene just a couple of days ago. We'll take a look and then get you more prepared for tip-off between the Vikings and the Beacons next.
Home at the Clark Athletics Center, kicking off their four-game stretch before the winter break against Eastern Nazarene, looking to avenge a loss last year at the last second. And the Beacons would trail 15-9 early on and then go on a massive 21-0 run to help them take control in the game. You saw Emmanuel Zayas hit a three, and then Malik Lorquette with a tough layup there. And then Zayas kicks it out to Bobby Joy at the top of the key for three. Nothing but net gives the Beacons their first lead of the game, 17-15, and it would continue from there as Zayas just pulls up from long range, hits yet another three in the first half. Tommy Burris adds his name to the three-point list with this one that goes in and out and then back in. Beacons in control by 8 would force a timeout from the Lions. Then Lorquette working one-on-one down low somehow gets that one to go. Beacons up by double digits, and then Xavier McKenzie in transition one-on-one lays it up. He'd get the and one opportunity. McKenzie has had himself a great freshman campaign so far. Nails the free throw. The Beacons in control now by 12, and then Malik Lorquette again. He's been impressive all season. Dunks this one home to put an exclamation point on that 21-0 run for the Beacons. Then to start the second half, the Beacons would be up by only 9, and they go on a 14-2 run to start off the second half, starting with that Lorquette layup. And then Lorquette with a steal once again, spin moves, lays it up and in. The Beacons in control by double digits, 13 up to this point. And then Zayas on the feed from Lorquette from long range hits another three-pointer. And then Mariano Olivier Rodriguez and one opportunity, a 4-point play as he nails that three from the left side. Zayas then would hit a three from about a similar spot, and the Beacons just continue to roll with some sharp shooting in this game. Xavier McKenzie would then cap off that run with a nice layup right here, closing out the Beacons' 14-2 run to put them up 23. And then Olivier Rodriguez, once again, in the corner, a dagger with 13 minutes to go, puts the Beacons in full control of this one. Xavier McKenzie with a nice layup on the fast break right there, and then Zayas would get yet another three from the corner. He's fouled, a 4-point play. He'd hit the free throw. And then Malik Lorquette capping off an impressive 20-13 performance for his 7th double-double of the season with this reverse layup right there. The Beacons end up winning this one by 27, 84-57. They shoot an impressive 50.8% from the field, 47.8% from the three-point line. They will head into next.
85-57, the final score of that one against the Lions. And now we take a look at the players to watch. We can't really call it a matchup because Emmanuel Zayas will run the point for the Beacons, and Connor Byrne alongside his two brothers, Jarrett and Liam. Liam will probably not play a huge amount. He's the youngest of the three, with Jarrett and Connor being the older twins and siblings. He leads the team in points and rebounds. Zayas up there third on the team in points, but leads the team in the assist category. The height differential is more than a foot, but both will have a similarly strong impact on the outcome tonight.
Yeah, I'd say there would be an unfair advantage depending on where this matchup would happen on the court. I don't think they'll be paired together, but they will both have a big impact. And the number that they don't show for Emmanuel Zayas, three-point percentage. He's leading the team in three-point percentage, and it's not even close. 5 for 9 against Eastern Nazarene. When he gets hot from beyond the perimeter, there's no stopping him.
And we've already talked about how these two teams can score the ball, but the Vikings in particular have a real difficult time in limiting the opposition. So Zayas, if he can get hot from downtown, combine that with the 1-2 punch of Malik Lorquette in the front court, could be a good day for the Beaks as they try and get another win under their belt in this little non-conference swing as we head toward the Christmas holidays. We do want to take a look at what is coming up for the Beacons in the next couple of days as, again, we are rolling through the holiday period, and as we get ready for the Christmas break, we still have a couple of things, including another men's basketball game coming right back at you on Thursday night as another MassCAC team, Westfield State, comes to town. 7 o'clock tip once again. And then on Saturday, we'll have a doubleheader for you. Men's and women's basketball back into conference play as the anchor men and anchor women come to town. It'll be the women first at 1, followed by the second half of our doubleheader with the men at 3 o'clock. We'll take a quick pause here. Still have about 5 minutes and change before we tip off between the Beaks and the Vikings. And we will come back with starting lineups, keys to the game. We'll highlight the two head coaches, and then we will tip it off between Salem State and UMass Boston next. You're watching Beacons basketball on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Passion's love. Passion is love for what you do. Because I think when you face challenges, it comes down to how much you want it and how much you love it. Passion is what keeps you going forward. Seeing so many people that were like-minded and so hardworking in their sport and academics, being surrounded by like-minded people makes you want to be more passionate. I think it pushes you to a different level that maybe you didn't think you had. And you can do the best of both worlds and love all of it.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
Passion's love.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient. Diverse experiences are setting them up for the future.
5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is it's a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown.
Just about set to get this one underway. We take a look at the starting lineups. First for your Beacons, it'll be Zayas and McKenzie in the backcourt. Tommy Burris will be there as well. As a stretch three, Mariano Olivier Rodriguez is going to be a 3-4 hybrid with Malik Lorquette being the big man down low. And on the other side for Salem State, Chris McDonald, one of the smaller players out there, will wear number 2. He will be in that backcourt with Josiah Green and Jaden Castillo. And then it's that front court. They're tall, not necessarily built muscular, but Jared Byrne and Connor Byrne, 6'7" and 6'8", 205 and 215 respectively. It's going to be fun to watch tonight, Max, that battle between Lorquette, who's also 215, gives up a couple of inches in terms of height, but is certainly probably built a little bit stronger down low against that size inside of the two Byrne twins.
Absolutely. You got in Salem State a team with a true 4 and 5, whereas, excuse me, Malik Lorquette's playing the role of the lone big man down there. So I'm going to be looking for who's helping him out on defense, shut down the Byrne twins, and make sure that they're not going crazy in the paint with Malik alone back there.
And we have another strong coaching matchup once again with, of course, Jason Harris leading your Beacons in now his 8th season, with tying his best 9-game start since 2016-17. Of course, you have the COVID-19 pandemic mixed in there, but that strong 6-3 start, 1-1 in conference play, which they will head back into this coming weekend. And then on the other side, you have Chris Harvey in his 16th year in charge of this Vikings program. You see a really strong record out of the MassCAC, 224 wins to 145 losses in his very long Vikings tenure. We will pause for the national anthem, then keys to the game and tip-off next.
University of Massachusetts, Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins, not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a lifetime kind.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot.
And we welcome you back to the Clark Athletic Center. Just about set to tip off for the second to last non-conference game of the season between the visiting Salem State Vikings and your UMass Boston Beacons. We take a look at the keys to the game. This is a game, you see that number one tip there, Max. Keep up the hot shooting. Salem State's a team where you should hopefully be able to do that.
Absolutely, yes. You know, their strength is down low with the Byrne twins, and UMass Boston's strength is up top from three-point land. So as long as they can do what they do well, I think it should be a strong offensive night for the Beacons. Like I said, they showed out against Eastern Nazarene. Can they keep that up? Led by Emmanuel Zayas, a little help from Bobby Joy off the bench. This is a team with a lot of shooters, but when they go cold, they really go cold, so you don't want to see that tonight. You want to start off strong from three.
That second key to the game, ball movement. This is a Salem State team that surrenders almost 19 assists per game to the opposition. So with Zayas up top, that down low game, up top, down low, 1-2 combo between him and Lorquette should be another area where the Beacons might be able to feast. And then winning that battle on the boards, it really is all about Malik Lorquette, who's now about 150 boards away from the all-time Beacon mark.
It is. He grabs rebounds like no other, and he's got a big matchup with a couple of big players down low, but he's a big body. He knows what he's doing down there. He just needs to grab more rebounds than they do, and it'll be a strong night for the Beaks.
17 and 12 is what Malik Lorquette is averaging. He has just absolutely gone off, particularly over the last couple of weeks as well. Strong turnout on this Tuesday evening. It's cool outside, but perfect conditions here inside with the blue painted court, and we are ready to get you underway. The Beacons in their home whites with the aqua blue numbers on front and back with Beacons across the chest. They'll be traveling left to right, and Salem State in their navy blue uniforms, almost looking like Western Connecticut colors with the blue and orange trimmed in white. And they will be moving right to left. It'll be a battle between Connor Byrne and Lorquette in the middle, and the Beacons win it, and Zayas will control things as right into what looks like a 2-3 zone to start things. And 1-2 down low. Lorquette missed the bunny, though.
That's the look they wanted, but not the shot they wanted. Rough start from Lorquette, but he's known to pick it up.
2-3 zone can be beaten by three-point shooting. Speaking of three-point shooting, the first one on the way and knocked down by Jaden Castillo.
Listen, if they can do that right, the rest can fall into place as well for the Vikes. That's a surprising opening shot. That's exactly what they want to see.
See if the Beacons can work their way through Tommy Burris in the center right at that free throw line. Instead, they chuck up a three, and it's missed well short that time by Olivia Rodriguez. Swing pass, off the dribble, pulls up in the mid-range. Much too strong, though, by McDonald, and the Beacons have it.
Great contested shot there from Xavier McKenzie, the outstanding freshman.
Off the dribble now goes McKenzie, feeds inside Lorquette, 0 for 2 from close range in the early going, and it's still 3-0 Vikes. Good quick hands by Burris, and there's McKenzie to swipe it away. Goes through two defenders, lays it off the glass, and we're on the board.
A strong move from McKenzie. He's making an impact on both sides of the court early.
Xavier McKenzie, second to Malik Lorquette, just shy or just north of 13 points per contest. Man-to-man defense for the Beacons. Zayas matched up with Castillo, who goes inside, challenges Lorquette. No foul. Now there will be as Lorquette grabbed the board and was bumped by Connor Byrne.
First whistle of the game there, not throwing it around too hastily here early on.
3-2 Salem State. Salem State team 3-9. Beacons 6-3. Mascac play has not started for Salem State. Beacons 1-1. Mid-range jumper off the back rim. Burris corrals his own rebound. Zayas flips it off the glass.
That's what's perhaps most impressive about Zayas' game to me is the angles that he can get. He's a lot lower to the ground than most of the other players, but he can go around and get the right angle off the backboard to put his shot in.
Listed at 5'7", but we were joking earlier that is being generous even with the sneakers. Nice jump hook teardrop by Byrne. That's Connor Byrne who cashes in for another two. 5-4 Salem State. Trying to break down the zone. Lorquette overthrows Zayas, who's able to get enough of a hand on it to keep it in play. Burris, his teardrop is short. Lorquette, another rebound for him, and he's on the board with two on another nice teardrop hook on the other end of the floor.
That's good to see. The easy shots weren't falling so far for the Beacons, but that's a great move by Lorquette down low there.
Jarrett Byrne well outside of his traditional post area. Now Connor is fouled, and it's going to be the first foul against Malik.
Not the deepest bench for the Beacons. They definitely don't want to see Lorquette in foul trouble with one on him now. He's aware of what he's got going on there.
Quick trigger off the inbound, too strong on that far right corner by Castillo. And McKenzie will work his way up the floor, back into the 2-3 zone. Again, Burris is the target man. Everything can run through him. It does, and Lorquette, easy deuce.
There's Lorquette using that body. We talked about different heights, similar weight, using that body to get into Byrne down low and get on his side of the hoop.
And that's going to be a travel whistle against Jarrett Byrne, and he knew it. Beacons with a 3-point edge, leading at 8-5 as we approach the under 16. Zayas and McKenzie, the two primary guards up top, communicating. Handoff left side to Olivia Rodriguez. Zayas, he can hoist from there, thinks better of it, goes inside. Now gets a little bit of an ISO look into Burris. Throws it up with the right hand, much too strong. Lorquette tracks down what feels like his third offensive rebound, and now he's got 6 points.
A masterclass from Malik Lorquette early. This is why he's averaging a double-double. He grabs offensive boards and puts them right back up. It's easy stats down there for him.
10-5 Beaks. Pressure outside, the two opposite number 11s, Olivia Rodriguez and Green going at it. Corner three, little hitch in the step, but Jarrett Byrne cashes in.
Byrne is the better three-point shooter out of the two. I believe the leader on the team at the moment, and he can hit those from outside when he really gets hot.
Jarrett Byrne, 6'7", 205, the three brothers from Melrose, Mass. As long two, it's whistled for Xavier McKenzie. But again, the offense clicking for the Beacons early, 12 points, and we haven't even played 5 minutes. Off the dribble, Beacons still in their man-to-man. Zayas will give up a couple of inches, but has the speed and the footwork. Player left his feet, mid-range fake, and the teardrop finds its way off the rim and down. It's Connor Byrne with another two. McKenzie swings it to Zayas. Now he will pull the trigger. And ill-advised shot, he knew it. Goes out of bounds, and that will bring us to our first media timeout of the contest. So the shot's flying, and for Malik Lorquette once again after he missed the first couple bunnies inside. Now 6 points and a handful of boards to go with him. As we pause with 14:58 to go in the first half, it's 12-10 Beacons on the BBN.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well, but it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
(12:10) early going, UMass Boston and Salem State. Mason Stell, Max Clifford with you. And it's been, after a first couple of misses inside, Malik Lorquette going back and doing what he does.
Absolutely. I think the big surprise of the opening section of the first half for me was three-point shooting. Salem State has made 2. The Beacons have not made 1 yet. We talked about the strength there lies with the Beacons, but Vikes looking good from three-point land early.
Saw Jarrett Byrne hit the last three-pointer for the Vikings, who turn it over, and it's McKenzie into the front court. Left-handed dribble, swings Zayas. Puts the ball on the ground and now tries to take 2 men off the dribble. Oh, has the mismatch. Byrne against Zayas, gives it up to Burris. Left it short, and Lorquette's on the end line out of bounds. Would have liked to see Emmanuel Zayas try and challenge the 6'8" Byrne.
We talked about it. It was interesting to watch. It didn't last very long, but a big mismatch there on the floor.
And Connor Byrne leading the team in scoring with just shy of 14 per game. Just 2 other players averaging in double figures. Josiah Green, number 11, averaging over 12, and McDonald at 10.1. With burn twin number 2 just inside of double digits. And there is a third burn, the youngest brother, Liam Byrne, who will likely not see if the game is close, but you never know, particularly if one of the older brothers gets in foul trouble. Liam Byrne, the tallest and thinnest of the trio, 6'9", 180, just a sophomore. High arcing shot that's going to go off the top of the backboard from Connor, and it'll be Beacon basketball.
You know, Mason, there's got to be some sort of joke there with the 3 Byrne brothers, something about a third-degree burn. I don't know. I'm working on something here for the color commentary, some sort of pun if he gets on the court.
Bobby Joy comes in, and now we have probably the best three-point shooting lineup out there with Joy and Zayas together. But quick hands from Josiah Green, that long mane of hair. Easy to pick him out.
Well, they started guard heavy, and then they took Malik Lorquette off the court, so now they're about maybe 4.5, maybe 5 guards out there for the Beacons now with Tommy Burst, the tallest player out there.
6'4", but he likes to play the guard. And so as the primary big, if you can call it that, Ike Alua, 6'3" in the middle. He has the ball now, goes right at the teeth of the defense, but throws a wild shot. That's corralled on the rebound by one of the newcomers out there, Juvens Lewis. He is tied up by Alua, who got back into the play and clearly did not like what he'd seen Jason Harris as he puts Lorquette right back into the ball game.
Yes, you don't want to risk it with no true bigs out there. Lorquette is a staple of this offense. They want to keep him on the floor as much as possible.
Connor Burns still out. He's the primary big, 6'8" in the middle. Long 3 on the way from Green. Byrne tried to save it. Lorquette got out of the way, and Zayas has it. Zayas. McKenzie nearly got the reach and foul. We've only seen 2 combined fouls in this game so far. Zayas pump fakes the 3, drives past the defender. Nice seal by Alua for 2.
Excellent pass by Emmanuel Zayas. Just cocked it back and bounced it right in between defenders. Found Ike Alua down low. It was excellent.
Alua on the score sheet. Another nice pass. Back-to-back beautiful dishes. And this one goes to Connor Byrne on the nice pass from McDonald.
And we did get that mismatch. As you can see, Emmanuel's eyes couldn't quite get up there with the reach of Connor Byrne on that one.
14-12 Beacons, inside 13 to play in the half. Joy penetrates, does not get the roll. Lorquette tried to tip it home. Ball bounces around, picked up by McDonald. Make it McKenzie, my apologies. Joy, third chance opportunity for the Beacons on this possession. Another bounce pass. Lorquette has 8.
He knows exactly what he's doing down low. He knows where he needs to be. He finds the ball, he gets open. No dribble, straight up.
Malik Lorquette's shot chart is a very fun one to look at. All tight to the basket. High percentage looks saved by Connor Byrne, and then McDonald was fouled by Zayas as he tried to get back toward that short corner area.
This ball is all over the place. We've got limbs flying, the ball bouncing around. A bit sloppy to start off the game here for both teams. We talked about turnovers. They want to prevent sloppy play.
And Salem State has really, as they nearly throw it away again, as Alua got his hands on it. Barely had any offensive possessions that have had the clock tick down inside of 15 seconds. Very quick trigger offense for Salem State. The Beacons have been finding high percentage looks against the 2-3 zone. Zayas up against Castillo. Green beats Alua, and then he's going to get hacked and head to the line, and we'll have our first free throws of the afternoon.
We're getting the full Ike Alua experience here in his first couple minutes on the court. He's going to play strong defense. He's going to make some moves on offense that confuse you because he flies through the air and does some weird motions. And he's going to make some shots, but he's also going to commit some fouls with those long arms that get in the way sometimes.
Well, it will be entertaining nonetheless. Another immediate timeout, 16-12 Beacons, 11:59 to play in the first.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Just inside 12 minutes to go in the first half. Beacons having a 4-point lead over the Salem State Vikings in this final week of non-conference play. Eastern Nazarene this past weekend. Westfield State coming up on Thursday. And Rhode Island College coming up on the weekend. That will kick off the run-in for the Little East Conference. That'll take you all the way through January and February into conference tournament time. Josiah Green at the line in those bright pink shoes for Salem State, shooting 2. Knocks down the first.
Salem State shooting 65.8% from the free throw line this season. Room for improvement for sure as he knocks down the second one there.
It's a 67% shooter himself, Josiah Green, but we mentioned it in the open. This is not a team that makes its living at the free throw line. Returning to the game is Jarrett Byrne. So both Byrne twins back in there for head coach Chris Harvey. With his team down by 2. Alua, there's that long arms. He tried to get the foul. Had some contact, but not whistled by our officiating crew.
Very stingy with the whistle early on, these referees are. Not a lot of foul calls early.
Daniel Christopher, Josh Burton, and Brian Dumont are our 3 referees this evening, with the head whistle going to Christopher. Connor Byrne posting up against Lorquette, gives it to his twin brother, and that's going to be out of bounds off of the Vikings as Jarrett Byrne wanted that take back. Thought he had the angle, just couldn't finish. As Olivia Rodriguez returns, 6'1" senior from Somerville.
This is one of the taller lineups you're going to see from the Beaks. Olivia Rodriguez with some height, Ike Alua with some height, and your main man Malik Lorquette down low.
So McKenzie will run the point, wearing those powder blue shoes, and left his feet, tried to get rid of it. Lucky it bounced right back to him. Bobby Joy, bounce pass. McKenzie pulls up, mid-range J, gorgeous.
That is McKenzie's bread and butter. He's going to dribble around a lot and find some space, and the mid-range jumper falls consistently throughout the season.
18-14, Beacons on top. Lewis inside. Jarrett Byrne backing in on that pass. Connor's not going to shoot the 3. Jarrett will, Connor won't. And it's turned over by Salem State. Alua out in transition. Lewis challenges him at the rim, and apparently no foul call. Alua doesn't like it. Transition the other way for 3. Green well off the mark. Bobby Joy's going to be out of bounds when he touched that basketball, and it will stay at this end of the floor.
No luck for Ike Alua around the rim. He's had about 3 shots that haven't gone that might have been fouls, but might have just been misses on his part.
We've only had 4 fouls called in this game. Make it 6 fouls, but again, we've only gone to the free throw line 1 time. That was the 2 shots by Green. As we're already right around the midpoint of the first half. Byrne, right side, nothing but net from Chris McDonald.
The Vikes are taking the right shots at the right time early. The 3-point ball looks really nice from them.
Beacons having a tough time getting something from anyone other than Malik Lorquette down low. Pull up by Burris, love it.
Want to see Tommy Burris get going. He's that man in the middle, the keystone that's going to get the offense started and dish out those assists. But if he's hitting the mid-range jumper, that's another option for you.
Again, that is how you beat the 2-3 zone. That player at the free throw line connects everything. Loose ball gets back down low, and Connor Byrne is fouled. And that one is going to be whistled against Olivia Rodriguez. This game's been close throughout, neither team leading by more than 2 buckets.
Connor Byrne shooting 69% from free throw on the season. Notably better than his brother, but as he bricks one there, that's not the best. That's not exactly what you want to see, but centers tend to have trouble with the free throws historically.
There's no one that shoots more than 1 free throw per game that is averaging better than 70%. We have a couple of players that haven't been there much that have better percentages. But again, as a team, Salem State struggling. Splitting the pair is Connor Byrne. Deficit is 2 for Salem State, all the way from the top of the key. Player goes flying into the bench. That was Olivia Rodriguez, and now Salem State looks to push quickly. And that's going to be a foul against Bobby Joy. It was just the question of was it foul or travel. Joy called for the bump, and that's the 6th team foul on UMass Boston. First on Bobby. Salem State can tie or take the lead. Right to the cup and reverse finish. McDonald, 5 points in the last couple of possessions. We are knotted at 20. And now a little bit of a stretch zone here by Salem State, and Lorquette gets absolutely mauled. That one you had to call.
Couldn't have missed that one. I know they're not calling everything, but you have to call that one there.
Malik Lorquette has a lot of great things about his game. Free throw shooting, though, is not one of them.
Yes, he has struggled at the stripe this season. That's definitely one thing he wants to fix. Could bump up that scoring average, but more importantly, could be big in close games like this one.
29 out of 57, 50.9%. That's actually improvement on what he had last year. It's not the stroke. You see that there. There's no weird hitch.
No.
Fortunately, some players just don't necessarily love the comfort level of being at the line.
Right. He'd much rather have a contested layup than a free throw if you ask him, I'm sure.
But as you said, Max, there are times late in games you want your best player, and Malik Lorquette is your best player out on the floor, and that's a beautifully pure finish that time.
That one looked pretty.
Well, that's the thing. That is what Malik Lorquette doesn't have. It's not the same shot every time. So
right.
You'll see that beautiful one, and then the next time he's at the charity stripe, it'll look very different.
The other Malik Brooms defending.
Ooh, I don't know where that foul was, but that's going to be a foul on Malik Brooms.
Stepped right on the court and already got one on him.
Malik Brooms, who started for much of last year when he was a freshman, now coming off the bench as a sophomore. As Xavier McKenzie has come in and started right away as a first-year player, and Emmanuel Zayas, who, again, came off the bench last year, has emerged as the primary point guard, as this UMass Boston team, of course, replaces the Charles and Charlie Mitchell duo. Is there some blood, potentially, on Olivia Rodriguez? That's what I imagine, is he's immediately going to see the trainer, so I think he has maybe a cut or a bloody nose or something that forced him to come off the floor. Meanwhile, Jarrett Byrne heads to the line 1-1. High arcing shot and gets the friendly bounce. But after it was basically no calls for the first 6-7 minutes of the ball game, just like that, already in the bonus now, Salem State with 8.5 to play in the first half. And they're making their free throws, and they, again, knot us up at 22.
Salem State really staying in this game. I thought that they might fall behind a little bit with the power of Malik Lorquette and the shooting from the Beacons, but it hasn't been a factor tonight, and they're staying right here.
Lorquette already in double figures. He's got 10. Joy, another mid-range J by McKenzie. This one rolls off the rim. And again, Salem State looking to push quickly. Offensive rebound and an easy putback by Jarrett Byrne after all the Beacon players had flown by trying to block it.
We talked about it. Both of these teams play fast. Beacons played maybe a little too fast to keep up with with the Vikings there on that possession.
Look at the very high zone this Salem State team is playing, and it's frustrating the Beacons right now. They're having a tough time getting it to Lorquette. Joy to Zayas to McKenzie, splits two defenders. Shot impacted. Lorquette is there again. That nearly was a goaltend. But we play on, and Lorquette thought he had one. Couldn't get it to fall, however. Nice, quick hands. McKenzie up against Connor Byrne and thought better of it. Now gives it to Lorquette, and he is smacked by McDonald, and that's 2 on him.
The Beacons are always getting in there on defense, causing turnovers, getting steals. That's huge. That's part of their defensive game plan, and they got to keep that up for the rest of the game if Salem State's going to keep scoring like this.
So the second foul on Chris McDonald, who's been effective offensively of late. We'll see how Salem State manages that on the other side of this media timeout. 24-22 Vikings, under 8 timeout here in the first half on the BBN.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door. I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
Always love the media timeouts here at the D3 level. Move much faster than the 2:45 that you have up at D1. As right out of the timeout, Malik Lorquette will head to the charity stripe, and he will have his opportunity to shoot the 1-and-1. His free throws will be shot from here on out on both sides. Actually, that should be the 7th. Oh, no, only the 4th. Only the 4th on Salem State. Okay. It's 7 on the Beaks. I'm looking underneath the basketball hoop here at midcourt that thankfully you cannot see on this camera angle. Good camera work there. So Beacon's not shooting yet, as Zayas will inbound side out. Gets it back on the 1-2 with McKenzie. Left-handed dribble, now switches to the right. Zayas steps through the lane. Again, Lorquette being man-marked by Josiah Green. And the 3 on the way from Tommy Burris. He can hit that.
And the triple finally falls for UMass Boston. They want to see that consistently. They have not had it yet. That's huge for them.
And Max talked about it. The Beacons just have the one true big in Lorquette, and that's a foul. Reach in after he was stripped by Juvens Lewis, the 6'2 sophomore from Everett, Mass.
I mentioned it right before the break, but the way these Beacons just get in the face of the offensive players from the other team, it makes such a huge difference. So many steals from these players. Xavier McKenzie makes a huge difference on defense just from stealing the ball.
The Beacons have 103 steals entering the game. Their opponents just 64. Nice little teardrop floater in the lane, and the Beacons back up by 3. Green nearly carried the ball a couple of times there. Byrne. Jarrett looks for Connor. Can't get it to him. Instead, the bright yellow shoes of Osorio gets it, and the missed shot by Juvens Lewis in the left corner. One and done there for the Vikes. Zayas turns on the Jets, then leaves his feet and throws it right to the other team. Osorio. Euro step, reverse layup, gorgeous finish.
That was a nice move from Osorio down there through the paint, getting that layup with a little Euro step on it.
Now, I think there's a misprint here because Javier Osorio is listed at 5 foot on my roster. He is 6 feet tall. That or Emmanuel Zayas is way shorter that he's listed at 5'7".
We like to joke here, but I think 5-0 is a little stingy for Osorio there.
Osorio, bright yellow kicks. Cannot miss him out on the floor. Zayas checks out. And the Beacons again go a little bit bigger with Burris and Joy technically as guards. Lorquette through 2 defenders and gets fouled. We'll see if they get, well, it's going to be one Byrne twin, but which is it? It looks like they're going to get Jarrett Byrne on that foul. Should just be his first. But now Salem State is up to 7 team fouls. And both teams will shoot for the rest of the way. But this will be a 2-shot foul for Malik, who hit his last 2. But there's that, again, you'll see that beautifully pure one the last time down, and then that one miles short.
That was a good 6 inches below where the last one went, hit right on the front of the rim there.
He just can't get the same shot twice in a row. And then that one cashed in beautifully.
That one looked great.
It's almost more frustrating in that regard because you know that the shot is there. It's not about form. It's just about consistency.
Right. If there was something wrong with his shot, you could fix that. Consistency is a lot tougher to get down.
But I know he works on it. He will spend many hours in the gym just working on that. Battles with Byrne. Connor Byrne, really strong move. That's the pure center in him. And able to finish that with the left.
That is exactly how Salem State wants to see their big man going at Malik Lorquette down low.
28-28. Again, neither team is led by more than 2 baskets. Burris thought about it, tries to feed Lorquette, who is camped in there deep, poked away by Jarrett Byrne into the arms of Osorio. Osorio gives it up to Green. Nice dish, and another nice reverse by Connor Byrne. Timeout UMass Boston. We'll stay right here for this one. We've really seen some gorgeous passing in this basketball game. When you have such gifted bigs, it's really nice when you've got great point guards that can feed it to them.
It is, and this is the type of basketball that we used to see in the Beacons play, but the Vikes are actually using it against them. They got some great guards feeding their bigs down low, and Connor Byrne is just having a field day down there. There's not a whole lot that Malik Lorquette can do without another big man to help him out.
And again, this is one of the few teams that the Beacons will play that has big and skilled big men. A lot of times at this level you'll see really tall guys but not necessarily really skilled or strong, or you'll see really strong guys that don't necessarily have those skills. Salem State, not the best team out there, but their bigs down low are a challenge for Malik Lorquette because not only are they tall, but you see the skills of Connor Byrne. He's got the footwork and the hands to make him work for it.
Absolutely, and then you've got Jarrett Byrne, who's leading the team in three-point percentage. So it's tough to figure out what to do with this tall pair of twins for Salem State.
Salem State leading it by 2, 30-28. Back into their 2-3 zone. Lorquette against Connor once again. Goes right at him and gets the roll. That's pure strength.
Malik Lorquette going right back at him, saying, I can play that game too.
30 all. Connor sets the screen and rolls. Osorio, that's a 2 if it goes, and it does. Step back jumper.
An impressive look from Osorio. He is making a huge impact. Didn't get many minutes in their last matchup, but he's looking great here tonight.
One of the upperclassmen on a team that does have quite a bit of freshmen and sophomore players, but this is a group that has a nice combo of seniors and young guys as Malik Lorquette slams it home.
Holy smokes, that was nice. That's the kind of thing you come out of the house for. This is why you're here on a Tuesday night. You want to see a big dunk like that one.
And another gorgeous pass to set up the dunk, making it easy on Malik. Under 4 timeout. Nothing deciding these two sides at the moment. It's 32 apiece here in the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium on this Tuesday night. We'll be right back for the conclusion of the first half. It's been a good one. Don't go anywhere.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
(32-32), Salem State and UMass Boston. Did you see that Beacon huddle there? And for the most part, neither coach can be too disappointed with how the offense has been run. It's just they've had trouble stopping the big boys inside on either side.
Absolutely. The key to this first half so far for me is that neither team has let the game get out of their hands. The biggest lead so far was the Beacons with a 5-point lead. That's tiny. There are first halves where I've seen this team jump out to 10, 15-point leads. The Vikings are keeping it close, and the Beacons are doing a good job of keeping it close the other way, and we got a tied game once again.
Beacons have not turned the ball over much in this first half. They've gotten a couple of steals themselves, but both teams have looked to get out and run, particularly on the Salem State side. 2-3 zone again for the Vikings. Joy off the dribble, gives it up to Burris, kicks to McKenzie. Right back to Malik Lorquette at the free throw line. Burris from the short corner, got it.
Tommy Burris with that mid-range jumper looking nice. He didn't have anyone under the hoop. You usually have a Malik Lorquette down there to grab an offensive rebound. Didn't even need it on that play.
Osorio, who's had a really strong couple of minutes, gets Malik Lorquette going for the block. That's something that Malik has done better at this year. Last year there was nothing he wouldn't bite on in terms of a fake. This year a little bit more disciplined, but still commits the foul, and that is the second on Malik Lorquette, I believe.
Yeah, that's not one that you want to give. That's an unnecessary one, and he wants to stay out of foul trouble come late in the game.
Osorio does not get the roll. And we'll see if Ikalua checks in the next available opportunity for Lorquette. Do not want him to pick up a third before you hit the halftime break. Gets an easy rebound there as Osorio goes 0 for 2.
No harm, no foul, except for that one foul on Malik Lorquette now in the stats sheet.
Burris looks for Lorquette. He and Byrne have battled the whole day. And turned over. Nice back tap to get it away from Olivia Rodriguez. Green, quick trigger. Up and out. Rebound to Jarrett Byrne. Ripped home and taken away by Olivia Rodriguez. Byrne stuffed by the rim. Beacons up by 2. 2:20 to play until we hit the halftime in a game that hasn't been separated by more than 5 on either side. Nice pass, easy 2 for McKenzie on the pass from Burris.
I wonder if he can dunk. I feel like he should have dunked that one, but hey, take the safe shot on that one. Take the layup, why not?
We were talking about it beforehand, how much we'd give to be able to dunk a basketball.
Just once, just once. If anyone wants to loan me their athleticism for just an hour.
Jarrett Byrne, shot impeded by Burris's contest, but offensive rebound and a fresh 20 for Osorio, who takes that shot here and cans another one.
Over pursuit on defense from Bobby Joy there. Gave him a wide open mid-range jumper.
Beacons, with all their steals, can gamble sometimes defensively. 3 on the way. Olivia Rodriguez off the rim. Rebound by Connor Byrne. And a 30-second timeout, use it or lose it, taken by Chris Harvey. And again, we will stay right here for this 30-second timeout for Salem State as they try and draw something up down by 2.
And we do have a replay of the Malik Lorquette dunk, so we'll hop over to look at that one once again because that was outstanding.
And it's this pass for me. It's the penetration first. Down low. Boom.
What can you do about that one? That was just so powerful. Got right up there and jammed it home. That's the most exciting play in basketball right there.
And again, this Salem State team, you see the way they play that 2-3 zone. They are willing to step up high. But if you can get it to that free throw line, everybody had stepped up and Lorquette stayed home. Easy 1-2 pass and thunderous finish from the most athletic guy on the floor, Malik Lorquette, who's had another outstanding first half, and he is still in there despite the 2 fouls. Ikalua has rejoined the contest, but it's Burris he replaces with 80 seconds to go in the half. Connor Byrne. Green matched up with McKenzie. Byrne off the dribble. Gets it back.
Wow.
And swatted away by Malik. Here comes Alua. And that Euro step knocked out of his hands. Salem State thought it was their ball, but it will stay with the Beaks. Another fantastic play by Lorquette. First time we've seen him really sky on the defensive end.
He is this program's all-time leader in blocks for a reason. He got up there with every inch of that frame, turned that shot away, and didn't foul. That's key. That is huge. That's experience to avoid a foul there.
Clear out. Lorquette with the step, goes up against Connor Byrne and gets the spin in. Really tough play, wanted the and one.
With a hand in his face, that was impressive from Malik Lorquette down low.
Beacons up by 4. Green muscles his way for 2. 38-36 Beacons. Don't think they're going to go 2 for 1 here. Just want to execute the offense. Zayas. Quiet offensive first half for him. Emmanuel pulls up, fades, and hits.
That was sweet from Emmanuel Zayas. He found the right spot on the floor, did a lot of dribbling, and then found the perfect spot, laid it right in.
Salem State can hold for the final shot. 12 seconds to play until we hit the halftime break. 8 seconds. Through the legs dribble. Green has it now. Goes up against Olivia Rodriguez. Back into the corner for 3 at the buzzer. Off the mark. One last putback, not there, as it's hauled down by Ikalua, and the Beacons will take a 4-point lead into halftime. Well, we thought it was going to be fun, Max, and really, that's about as entertaining a first half of basketball and as tightly contested a first half of basketball as you can have.
That was incredible. I mean, that much closer than I anticipated. I thought the Beacons offense might overpower that Salem State defense, but the Vikes are right in it, and I'm impressed by both sides being able to keep their heads in the game and not let momentum go one way or the other. Still, biggest lead was 5.
Well, it's now time for the BBN halftime show, as it's 40-36 Beacons at the break. And as we start this halftime, we look back at the conference home opener back on December the 3rd as Eastern Connecticut came to town and left with a 67-58 defeat at the hands of the Beacons. We show you those highlights, and then we'll roll through the halftime next. You're watching Beacons basketball on the Beacons Broadcast Network.
UMass Boston men's basketball at home taking on Eastern Connecticut State University in a Little East Conference matchup, their first of the season. The two teams met in last year's LEC quarterfinals, in which the Beacons fell on the road. Today would be a different story, though, for the Beacons, as Emmanuel Zayas, the high point scorer for the Beacons today, nails a 3 right there, gives the Beacons an early 3-2 lead. And then Zayas with another 3 right here at the game being tied 5-all would help spur a 9-0 run for the Beacons, in which they would never look back at this point. Malik Lorquette with a layup after the spin move against Quentin Lott, and then Ika Lua nails this 3 on the pass from Bobby Joy. And then Mariano Olivia Rodriguez closes out the 9-0 run with a free throw to give the Beacons a 14-5 advantage. And they would never trail again, like I mentioned, because they would just be in full control on both ends of the floor. Xavier McKenzie with the nice layup on the left side right there helps give the Beacons a 9-point advantage. And then Malik Lorquette with a big block in the first half right there leads to a transition basket the other way for Xavier McKenzie to help put the Beacons in front at this point, their largest lead of the game, at 12. Their largest lead would be 14 in the first half, as Lorquette with the steal right there gets it to Olivia Rodriguez for the layup. Beacons up 23-9. The Warriors would respond, get it within 8 in the closing minutes of the first half, but then Lorquette would go to work and score 2 straight baskets for the Beacons to head in the locker room up by 12 points, and the offense would continue to roll in the second half as Lorquette lays it up and in to start off the second half. Emmanuel Zayas right back to work, goes with a nice move to the middle, stops, and spins around Max Lee to help make it a 14-point game for the Beacons. Now at this point, an 11-point advantage, and Zayas finds Olivia Rodriguez in the corner for a 3, banks it home, and that's now a 14-point lead for the Beacons at this point. And then Zayas with the game down to 12 points, nails it from the top of the key. It's now a 15-point advantage, and now the Beacons would take their largest lead at 17 points on this Malik Lorquette layup. But the Warriors would respond. They'd get within 7. Dominic Dow would nail a 3 right here to make it just a 7-point game, but Xavier McKenzie would nail 4 of his final 5 free throws to close out a 67-58 victory for the Beacons, who moved to 1-0 in LEC play. Emmanuel Zayas leading the way with 17 points on 7 of 10 shooting on the afternoon, securing 7 rebounds. Xavier McKenzie, for his 5th straight game as a freshman, recording double-digit points, scoring 17 of them on 5 of 18 shooting and going 6 for 7 from the free throw line. And then Malik Lorquette nearly had his 5th consecutive double-double, scoring 15 points on 7 of 10 shooting and grabbing 8 rebounds. The Beacons have now won 4 of their last 6 matchups against Eastern Connecticut after losing 23 in a row to them. They will hit the road for their next LEC matchup against WestCon, slated for Tuesday night at 7 o'clock p.m.
Proportion to me is the lived experience of our Division III student athletes. They balance life from an academic perspective and the rigors of competing at a high level, bonding with teammates and building lifelong friendships. But they also are involved in their communities. They work jobs and internships and volunteer. They've learned to be resilient, diverse experiences.
Halftime between Salem State and your UMass Boston Beacons, with the Beacons up 40-36. Their biggest lead, no more than 5 on either side, as it was really well contested throughout. You see those halftime stats. And Max, even though the three-point percentage is a little bit down between the two sides, again, we talked about how both teams were shooting above 30% on the season from three. The field goal percentage you can't argue with. When the teams got it inside to their bigs, whether it was Malik Lorquette for the Beacons or the Byrne twins, particularly Connor Byrne for Salem State, good things happened.
Yes, absolutely. And, if you can only do one thing, you're not going to win a lot of basketball games. So neither of these teams need to rely on the three-point shot. I think we're going to continue to see a lot of play down low. And that three might never fall, but that might be okay for the team that pulls out a win here tonight.
And the Beacons and Salem State both turning the ball over less than their season averages through one half of play. The Beacons just 3 turnovers. Love that 11 assists, 3 turnover ratio on the Beacons side of things. But Salem State hanging around there, keeping things close, and really not shooting themselves in the foot either. Some really nice playing off the bench by Osorio, and of course the really strong play of Connor Byrne inside in that really fun battle to watch with Malik Lorquette. We take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard as it is a busy day as we get ready for the Christmas holidays. You see what's happened over the last couple of days. Last time out this past weekend, Southern Maine over Castleton, Keene State over RIC in a dominant performance by the Owls. Eastern Connecticut over Plymouth State by 20. And then out of conference, of course, your Beacons over the Lions of Eastern Nazarene 84-57. And then last night, actually that's last night. Have my dates mixed up in my head. WestCon out of conference against St. Joseph's of Brooklyn 87-41 in a dominant performance by the Wolves. It's just been, again, this is that weird in-between time, but once you kind of polish things off on Thursday against Westfield State for UMass Boston, you got to be ready to go because it's all conference play from here on out.
This is a strong conference, same as it ever was in the LEC. Keene State is looking very dominant early on. Both Connecticut State universities, Eastern and Western, are looking strong. There are going to be no easy ones in the LEC this year for UMass Boston, but they're looking strong early, and they're hoping they can carry it into a conference play.
No other LEC teams in action this evening, but it is Keene State with that strong 3-0 start to conference play and 10-0 overall. WestCon, though, 2-0 in conference play and 8-0 overall. You combine those two teams, Keene State and WestCon, 5-0 in conference and 18-0 overall. It's obviously going to be fun to watch when those teams do battle. RIC 2-1 in the early going in conference play. The Beacons 1-1 with the Anchormen coming to town on Saturday. And that'll be the second game of a doubleheader with the women facing off against the Anchor women of RIC first. Eastern Connecticut State and Southern Maine both 1-2. UMass D has not started conference play yet, and they're starting their regular season by just a 1-5 mark. And Plymouth State and Castleton both 0-2 as they have started conference play. We'll get you ready for the second half in just a few minutes. After these messages, it's 40-36 Beaks at the break. You're watching Beacons Men's Basketball on the Little East Conference Network and the Beacons Broadcast Network.
Five-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Responsibility is being accountable for your words and actions, first and foremost. It also is an obligation to be a positive influence in the communities around you. Being in a D3 program, you're going to have lots of different opportunities. You're not just an athlete, you're also involved in student life. Your academics are extremely important. We give a lot of our student athletes responsibilities right from the start by giving them leadership opportunities, by having them engage in the community, be a positive influence. That's being a responsible person.
I believe sportsmanship is it's a mutual admiration and respect for your fellow competitors. We all go through a lot to reach the point where we compete against one another. It's important to realize that. So once we're finally on the field or on the court or on the starting block, we look at each other as fellow human beings and not just competitors. Being able to recognize the hard work that other athletes are putting in creates a more positive and inclusive environment.
Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
Celebrate the soggy shoes and the slow starts. Celebrate the lessons learned along the way. These are the wins. Not the shiny nail-biting kind. These are the last a-lifetime kind.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you. I just wanted to get good grades and to do well, but it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
We welcome you back, and you see Malik Lorquette doing what he's done all season long. First on the defensive end with that emphatic rejection, and then here's the high-low. Nice pass from Burris, easy dunk inside. 17 points, 6 rebounds in the first 20 minutes for Malik Lorquette. You do the math on that, he's on pace for a 34-point, 12-rebound night, and I would not put it past him doing it.
He might do even better than that. He might have a big second half. Saw Javier Osorio making a business decision on that dunk there, getting out of the way. He knows what Malik Lorquette can do down low. And look, he might start off a little bit slow. He's going to heat up here in the second half, and I think it might be another big night from Malik Lorquette.
Beacon shot 18 of 36 from the field in the first half. 17 to lead the way for Malik Lorquette, along with his 6 rebounds. 8 points for McKenzie, 7 for Tommy Burris, 6 for Zayas, and just 2 for Ike Alua, who thought he got fouled a couple of times, did make 1, but would have liked a couple of trips to the charity stripe for his troubles. And on the other side for Salem State, spreading the wealth offensively. Like the Beacons, just 1 player in double figures. That's Connor Byrne with his 11. Twin brother Jarrett has 7, including one of just 3 three-point makes for Salem State in the first half, as they went 3 for 11 from downtown, though they did go 14 of 30 from the field overall. So in the painted area, they were dominant, Connor Byrne being the primary recipient of that. 5 points for McDonald, 6 for Osorio in limited minutes, but I expect we'll see a lot of the yellow shoot Osorio in the second half, as he was a spark off the bench for Salem State. 4 for Green and 3 for Castillo. About 30 seconds to go until we start this second half, and hopefully we just get more of the same, Max. It was really a well-played first half.
We're being treated to an excellent game here early. Back and forth offensively, good defense being played. This is exactly what you want if you're a fan and if you're a coach, really. There's nothing that either coach could really be unhappy with here, offensively or defensively.
40-36 the score. And this is the second to last non-conference game of the season for the Beacons, as they'll have Westfield State in town on Thursday. Another 7 o'clock tip for you right here on the BBN. Then Rhode Island College on Saturday, I should say. And then the Christmas holiday break. No games between December the 17th and January the 4th. There won't be a home game for nearly a month, as the first two conference games coming out of the New Year's break at Castleton and at Plymouth State before they're back against the Corsairs of UMass D. Underway, back into the zone go the Vikes, and back to work go the Beaks, as it's Burris with another elbow jumper.
Tommy Burris is having an awesome game offensively. He's more of a passer. I've said it a few times, but tonight he's hitting that mid-range jumper like it's his job.
Way too strong off the bank by Green. Zayas has it. Beacons with their starting five back out there. Same can be said for the Vikings. Olivia Rodriguez, ill-advised pass, picked off, and they're going to get the ball back, though. Unforced error as Castillo took his eyes off the ball and had it go off of him and out of bounds. But the Beacons' largest lead for either team tonight at 6. We have not seen it get beyond a two-possession game at any point. But you mentioned it, Max. The Beacons do have the ability, with their ability on the offensive end, to get out to a double-digit lead with relative ease, and we've seen that this season.
Absolutely, an abnormally close game for the Beacons, and we'll see if that trend continues here.
Lorquette again battling for the rebound. Last touched by Malik as the putback attempt just rolls off the rim from McKenzie. Another good day for Xavier so far. Some backcourt pressure being applied by the always stingy Emmanuel Zayas. And not sure if he got the back tap on that or if that was just lost out of bounds. It'll be last touched by a Beacon, though, as Castillo tried to get to the cup. Baseline out of bounds, triggered by Chris McDonald, senior from Wakefield, Mass. Every player on this Salem State team, bar one, hailing from the Commonwealth. And that bounce pass just found Malik Lorquette's leg, who picks it up, gets it back, but couldn't quite corral the pass and couldn't bank it in. Jarrett Byrne, not sure how the laws of physics allowed that one to go home as he laid it off short, goes off the window and down.
That was a pinball. Bounced off the backboard and the front of the rim and then went in.
42-38, Beacons still on top. They have led for the majority of the game but have created no separation. Backdoor cut, couldn't find McKenzie. Instead, stepping in and missing it short is Olivia Rodriguez. Hasn't quite found his shot yet in this game. More of a drive and dish guy than he is a shooter. Pass deep into the post, Connor Byrne. You're not going to displace him, even someone as strong as Malik Lorquette.
No way. His presence is being felt one way or another tonight.
Connor Byrne, 6'8", 215. So strong. Old-fashioned big man down there. Absolutely love his game. Speaking of loving his game, Burris with another. He's into double figures.
You want your MVP of the first 2 minutes, 15 seconds? Tommy Burris is having a crazy second half early. But, already 3 jump shots that have gone down and a big rebound on the defensive end.
That pass thrown right to McKenzie. Lorquette gives it to Xavier. He's fouled and will head to the line. Connor Byrne commits the personal.
Really smart passing from Malik Lorquette there. You see a center doesn't usually have the awareness to hit those passes, but no look, put it between right where 2 Salem State defenders couldn't grab it, and then Xavier McKenzie up and grabs the foul.
And there was a foul in the first half that I believed was on Malik Lorquette that was actually given to Bobby Joy. So Lorquette only had 1 personal foul in the first half.
That's great news for the Beacons.
Joy was the only player that had 2 through the opening 20 minutes. McKenzie has that one roll off the iron, splits the pair, 45-40, and then gets back and picks it off. Zayas is open. Can they find him? They can. Pump fakes, drives, off the glass, can't get the roll though. And here comes the opposition the other way. Lorquette flies by, and really disciplined finish by McDonald.
It's not easy to beat that outstretched hand of Malik Lorquette. McDonald's with a perfect readjustment in midair to get it right past Malik.
Oh, you knew that Malik was coming. You hear those pounding footsteps, and really good play as McKenzie has that one go off front and back. Lorquette, another rebound and another 2 points for him. He's up to 19 and 7. Oh, and we're going to have a delay of game warning against Malik Lorquette. That's a bit harsh, as I actually did just believe he tried to bounce it to the opposite team. But the official whistles a delay of game against Malik. So the next time he does that, if he does it again, that would be a technical. Byrne. There comes the double now. Triple team. Back out Jarrett. Hitching the shot again, and it's off the front. And Zayas gets snagged, and how is that not a foul? Coach Harris can't believe it. Off the back rims. Skying for it and corralling McKenzie, and Zayas has it go right through his hands, but I still cannot believe that Zayas was not on the receiving end of a foul call there.
Not the prettiest sequence of basketball there. Zayas got tackled and then just about had a wide open three before it slipped through his hands there.
And the first half, there were not a lot of fouls called for the first 7-8 minutes. And then there were a lot of fouls called in a quick spurt. And by about the 6-minute mark, both teams were shooting free throws. Byrne, one-on-one, trying to get the footwork. He's not in the paint. Kicks for three, and that one toilet bowls around and down on Jaden Castillo's shot. That was a broken play that worked.
Nothing more Malik Lorquette could do there. He held Tommy Byrne there for maybe 5 seconds, just waiting, trying to find something. No mercy until they found that three.
McKenzie on a dribble. Man-to-man for what really feels like the first time. Now they sink back into the 2-3 zone, and Joy gets fouled. And he'll have 2 free throws when we come back from our first media timeout of the second half. Still a tight one here inside the Clark Gymnasium. 47-45 Beacons, 15:29 to play.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Both teams talking things over, much more vocal on the Salem State side, with Chris Harvey still barking to his team as the Beacons have already broken their huddle. Jason Harris's squad is back out on the floor, but Coach Harvey urging his team on. Can't quite make out the words, but he is certainly bringing his point across.
It's hard to hear anything else with this headset on, but I'm hearing him clear as day down there on the court. He is not happy about something, even though his team has closed the gap a little bit here.
But there have been a couple of broken possessions in the last couple. Again, Zayas very nearly open for a wide-open three in transition. And just by the fortune of having it go through his hands did Salem State catch a break. Joy heads to the line where he is money. Over 90% on the season for Bobby Joy.
Bobby Joy is one of the best shooters on the court when he actually takes the shots. He doesn't shoot nearly as much as the other guards on the team, but three-pointers in the paint, free throws, he's money wherever he shoots from. Just doesn't do it that often.
And if the game remains close throughout, you can guarantee it that Bobby Joy will be out there at the end of the game and a primary recipient of the basketball and potentially get fouled and head to the line. Byrne, that's Jarrett Byrne, gets it back, has that weird three-point stroke, but he can't hit it. Leads his team in that category, as Max just mentioned a few times, but misses his last two. Joy, he can hit from there. Decides not to pull the quick trigger, though. McKenzie. Joy takes it this time. Off the back rim. Second chance, though, for McKenzie and the Beaks, up by 4, inside 15 to play in what has been another close half. Oh, bad pass by Olivier Rodriguez. Salem State will look to counter. Joy tries to get in the way, commits the take foul. And I think they are still going to get 2 free throws for Juvens Lewis. Yep, Juvens Lewis will head to the line for 2. But not before Coach Harvey gets a word in with Juvens Lewis alongside his teammate Castillo. Lewis, 6'2" sophomore, mentioned just northwest of Boston, his hometown of Everett.
Shoots about 78% from the free throw line.
Which, as we've mentioned, for Salem State is above the team average, which has not eclipsed 70. It seems like we've seen a lot of split pairs at the line tonight. There's another, as Lewis has that one rattle its way out. 49-45. Should be 49-46 if I'm not mistaken, if the Lewis can the first. Joy through the legs, gives it to McKenzie. Zayas back to McKenzie, through the lane, floats it up there. Gets back iron, but gets his own rebound after a lengthy scrum. Joy with a fresh 15 now. And there's going to be a foul on the floor first. And I think that's going to be the third on Chris McDonald. It is. Oh, did they get Juvens Lewis for that? They did. And that's his 4th.
Oh.
Could have sworn that was McDonald on the way through. I think Salem State probably selfishly is okay with it being Lewis more so than McDonald.
Right, you don't want to see McDonald with a foul.
But still, Lewis, 4th personal.
Wow.
Zayas cans one.
Ended up flat on his back. Doesn't matter. Emmanuel Zayas can hit that in his sleep.
Zayas has that little kick out with the legs that sometimes you can get that and one from downtown. Gets the 3, no foul though. Osorio into the game. He was a spark plug in that first half, number 10 with those bright yellow shoes, now settling into the near corner. Byrne finds Osorio. Had 6 in the first half, nearly had 3 more there, but just left it short. Looked good though. Lorquette working on another double-double. Zayas through the legs. Long strides as he gives it up to Alua. Ike gives it up. McKenzie. Olivia Rodriguez off the bounce. Touch to Salem State hand on its way through. 3 to shoot. Zayas blocked. But Lorquette is there. Nearly had the putback, but Byrne rustles down the rebound. Osorio being hounded by McKenzie, and then Osorio throws it to the back banner.
That's the Xavier McKenzie difference. He can get in there. Even when he's not in front of you, he causes problems and cause an errant pass there without drawing the foul.
Beacons up by 6, matching their largest lead of the contest. You get the feeling if the Beacons were able to get up by 10, this game might feel a little bit different. Alua left his feet, gets it back on the rebound. Both teams battling for it, and finally we're going to have the jump ball call, even though at the end of all that, Salem State, had they waited another quarter of a second, would have regained possession. It is still their ball on the arrow, however.
Seemed like there could have been a lot of whistles before that one, but they've been stingy with it all night long.
Jarrett Byrne off the bounce. Up top for 3. Yes. Jaden Castillo.
And that's how Salem State's managed to stay in this game. They are just shooting the 3 a lot better than the Beacons are tonight.
Beacons have had trouble finding offense outside of Lorquette, who still has nearly half of their points. And that's going to be a bump foul, as biting on the fake was Osorio. He has had a couple of tough possessions in a row, turning it over on one end and fouling on the other, as Tommy Burris, the other Beacon in double figures so far tonight, comes in for Alua. Zayas tripped up by Osorio, but just a tangling of legs, no foul call. Lorquette tried to go deep, and it's going to be a kicked ball violation, or at least the official motion for a need ball violation, which should be a kick, not a knee, but whatever. 12 minutes to go, right at the 12-minute mark. It is still tight, as it has been throughout. 52-49 when we come back on the other side of this break. You're watching Beacons basketball on LittleEastConference.tv and the BBN.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III.
Things quiet at the moment for Beacon Athletics. Just men's basketball in action this week. Men's and women's basketball on the weekend. Hockey's already on their Christmas break. They'll be back in action on the men's side anyway for the Codfish Bowl right around the new year. Women's shortly after that. 52-49. Beacons on top with possession of the ball underneath with a fresh 20 after that kicked ball violation. 2-3 zone, as has been the case all day long for Salem State, forcing the Beacons to try and either work the ball down low to Lorquette or shoot the three. Osorio, who tripped Emmanuel Zayas on the last possession, now is whistled for the foul for the same offense.
Emmanuel Zayas spent a lot of time on the floor tonight.
He's scrappy. He will dive for anything. He will get in the middle of everything. He'll get under your skin, that's for sure. That floater left short by McKenzie. Vikings go down low quickly to Connor Byrne, and Burris is going to get whistled for the foul there. There's really only one player on the floor for the Beacons who can match up one-on-one with Connor Byrne. Lorquette hadn't quite gotten back down in transition, and Burris didn't really have a chance, although nearly got the block up top, but just got him with the body. So Connor Byrne back to the line, trying to cut this deficit to 1, and doesn't get the roll, and that's been par for the course today for both teams. Missing one, make the other. And that's what happens again here.
It's like clockwork, you know. One's going down, the other one's going to be loud, and it's going to be off the rim.
And Salem State playing a very difficult game of never really leading, but never falling behind by enough where it really feels like they're ever out of it. 52-50.
Largest lead still just 6 for the Beacons. They have not been able to stretch it past that. It's a hotly contested game here so far.
It certainly is. McKenzie waiting for the basketball. Zayas takes on his man by himself. 3 seconds to shoot. Olivia Rodriguez off the back iron. Hauled in there by Byrne. Long pass up court. And they're going to whistle a foul on the hand. Olivia Rodriguez commits this one. Just the third team foul on the Beaks, though. 9 minutes gone in this second half. 5 team fouls have been whistled against the Vikings in half 2. But 2 free throws for McDonald. Chance to tie it up. And again, first one off the mark.
If I'm a betting man, he makes this one.
And sure enough, nothing but twine. 52-51 Beacons. Vikings leaving points on the table from the free throw line, but still right there in what has been by far the most entertaining game here at home so far this season in terms of sheer competitiveness and tight play. 3 on the way, and Olivia Rodriguez, who's been waiting for one, finally has it.
It takes him a little time to find that shot, but once he does it, it's so sweet.
Pump fake sends Zayas flying, and Castillo, who's hit a couple of jumpers in this second half, cans another. 55-53 Beaks. Zayas thought about something from Steph Curry range, instead gives it up. Much better shot, and it's McKenzie from his patented mid-range who hits it.
That is where he's at his best. The freshman making an impact on both sides of the court once again.
And this will be a team timeout, so not the media, so we'll stay with you. 57-53. Really all the guards today, for the most part, making good decisions, and the passing has been on the money. There's been a couple of careless passes, but two teams, again, who we talked about, who had a propensity to turn the ball over, have really done a good job of not doing that.
Yes, excellent ball control. It hasn't been a sloppy game, and there haven't been a lot of whistles. Some of them maybe missed fouls, but overall, a really tight and clean game played by both teams, and the score reflects it. Just 4 right now. Biggest lead was 6. This is not a runaway for either team, and at no point has it looked like it was going to be a runaway.
And, of course, the Beacons have been playing games fast and furious going back to the start of the season. This will be a well-deserved bit of a break after they take on the Anchormen on Saturday, as they've been having games every 72 hours at the most, going back to the start of the year. And Salem State similar, as they have yet to start conference play. We'll at least preview what's coming up for them in MassCAC play in just a little bit, but it has been a really good basketball game to watch, whether you're a fan of either team or a neutral who just happens to have this D3 contest on. And if, regardless of why you're tuning in, welcome. And hopefully you're enjoying on this Tuesday evening from the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium. Mason Stelf, Max Clifford with you on this Tuesday evening from just south of the great city of Boston. Jarrett Byrne looks to give it back to his brother, who's sealed off by Malik Lorquette. Castillo, he wants to get to his jumper, now feeds inside. Byrne, 2 players go for the fake, and that's going to be a travel, right? Yep, there it is.
Anytime you see a player in the paint holding the ball for that long, spinning around, you know the other foot's going to move at some point. He just held on a little bit too long. Now the Beacons with a chance to extend this lead to tie their biggest lead of 6. Up by just 4 at the moment.
And they will get the friendly roll. That's what you get the home court bounce for.
Biggest lead of the game for the Beacons at 7. Can they keep the momentum rolling now? This is how they close out games. They keep it close, and then they push the lead down late.
But Osorio cans the 3, then turns and gives the look to the Salem State fans in attendance.
What do I know, right? Leads back to 4, just like that. This game has been back and forth all game long.
Salem State will just not go away. A team that's trying to win for the first time since December the 1st. But Zayas, shifty as always, gets to the lane and finishes.
That was nice. 5'7" Zayas gliding through the air right there with an easy layup right past the post defenders.
Connor Byrne battles with Lorquette. There's going to be a foul against Malik first. You look at this schedule for Salem State, their best win of the season undoubtedly at MIT right after Thanksgiving on November 29th. But since their win at Elms on December 1st, losses to Eastern Nazarene in a close one, Emerson, Endicott, WPI, this has been about as good as they've played defensively, as really everyone except for Malik Lorquette and Tommy Burris has not had their best offensive day. But after this, they are on their long Christmas break. They will start MassCAC play against Worcester State at home on January the 4th. Their lone home win this season was against Curry back in November. And Osorio, he is having a day. He's had a couple of plays where he's passed the ball to nobody, but his shot has been falling, and he's into double figures now.
Talk about an impact player off the bench. He's been huge for the Vikes to keep them in this game, and the lead's back down to 3. Every time we look, and it's a bigger lead than usual, it's right back down to close to a tie game.
He's got some attitude as well, really bringing the power, the fire, and the passion every single shot. He's got that look to him that says, I deserve more minutes because look what I can do with them.
Exactly. You let those neon shoes on the court, good things happen.
I always think you have to have a personality to wear shoes that bright.
Oh, you gotta.
The shoes speak for you, particularly in 2022, of course, where now there is plenty of money to be had at the Division I level based on what shoes you wear. But you don't see a player with that amount of fire and passion wearing traditional white kicks. Nope. It's a fashion piece now. We saw that last year with Charles and Charlie Mitchell, of course.
Oh, yeah, stylish as always.
Sometimes that'd be the only way you could tell them apart on the floor, outside of the fact that their games were very different.
Malik Lorquette banging home those 2 free throws. That's huge down late for the Beacons.
Great to see again. Another ridiculous stat line for Malik. Team up by 5. Osorio, could he hit another? Nope. Well off to the left, could see that one right off the trigger.
Bobby Joy all in his face. That's great defense from Zero.
Heat check from Osorio, that's for sure. Beacons trying to capitalize on that missed shot. Zayas cans another.
And Emmanuel Zayas has found that three-point shot. We knew it wasn't going to be cold for long.
Lorquette up to now 21 and 8. Byrne trying to draw the foul, surrounded by 3 Beacons. Zayas nearly came out with it. It will be last touched by Emmanuel, but the Beacons up 67-59 as they are trying to get this one to a little bit of a more comfortable margin as we hit the under 8 media timeout. 67-59 Beaks in a really fun game on the Beacons Broadcast Network. Don't go anywhere.
I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
Emmanuel Zayas now up to 17 points. He's hit 3 triples, including that one right there. 7 of 9 from the field. Beacons now have 4 players in double figures, led by Malik Lorquette's 21, but 17 for Emmanuel, 11 for Burris, and 11 for McKenzie. The offense in this second half, not just the Lorquette show, which has been great.
No, the Beacons have done a good job of distributing the ball pretty well, although it's always consistently going to be Malik Lorquette as your leading scorer. As long as he's healthy and on the court, he is probably going to lead you in points, but they do a good job of passing it around and getting it to the other guys as well.
McDonald swings it around the perimeter. Osorio gives it to Jarrett Byrne. Byrne all the way to the basket, doesn't get the bounce. Hauled in by Lorquette, who's another rebound shy of another double-double.
Tommy Burris making an impact that won't show up on the stat sheet, but contesting that layup there against a taller player, that was impressive defense from Tommy Burris. I've seen a lot from him tonight.
Tommy Burris, the best kind of boring basketball player, just does all the little things and has gotten credit tonight because his offense has picked him up and is now starting to show up in the stat sheet as he is, again, over 10-plus points. That's not always his game, but he's out there on the floor for a reason. 3 Salem State players in double figures. Connor Byrne with 14. Castillo has 11. Osorio, who we mentioned has been a fire off the bench, heads to the bench now. He has 12. Jarrett Byrne at 9 right now for Salem State. But with 6.5 to go, trailing by 8, we'll see if they can again claw their way back in. And that's a good start. Castillo, strong second half for him, cuts the deficit back to 6.
That was a tough drive to the bucket there. Unassisted, just strong on his way to the basket.
Zayas looks to spot up. Again, they will have to front him as he has been on fire. 7 for 9 from the field. Another one for Burris. He's got it.
This is the Tommy Burris game right here. He is playing probably his best game of the season, maybe his career right now.
The stat gurus may hate that mid-range game, but Burris has it down to a science. He's up to 13. Castillo!
These Vikings will not go away, man. They keep hitting those threes.
Joy to McKenzie. Zayas gets in the lane. Not fair. He doesn't get the roll. There's going to be a held ball. We'll keep it here. as Jarrett Byrne and Malik Lorquette tied each other up, and now the two opposite number 11s return, Olivia Rodriguez and Green, who's been out for a lengthy period of time. But Salem State, they have competed throughout this game. Oh boy, double dribble. I think he stepped on the opposition's foot, and that completely put him off balance, Malik Lorquette, and it's turned over.
Yeah, that was a bit of a slip there from Malik. You're not used to seeing
69-64. Salem State again can cut this down to 3 or even 2. Connor Byrne. Who are they going to get on this foul? There were about 3 Beacons there who could have been whistled for it. They're going to get
Malik Lorquette there.
Ooh. And he was on the backside of that play. That's 3 on Malik. And they're going to whistle that not only as a foul, but as a shooting foul as well on Connor Byrne. Now, free throws have been on and off, literally trip to trip for Salem State. Makes the first here. Can he get both this time? No. Again, that looked well deep right off the bat, but the Beacons are going to get called for a foul on the rebound, and that's 4 on Malik.
Oh, dear.
Coach Harris saying how, why, and where.
That is bad news for the Beacons.
That is a tough break, undoubtedly. But it is turned right off. And Malik Lorquette, despite the frustration, gets an easy finish.
You knock him down, he's going to go find a bucket on the other side. It's no problem for him.
Now Coach Harris having that decision to make, leaving Lorquette in there rather than going to Ikalua even for a couple of minutes. He trusts Malik Lorquette, and I think he trusts Malik Lorquette this year as a senior a lot more than he would have trusted Malik Lorquette, the junior. 3 on the way. Yes! And he knew it right off the bat. Mariano Olivia Rodriguez.
Olivia Rodriguez finding that 3 late. He's got his driver's license now. He's cruising.
Byrne, I don't know how that got to Jarrett Byrne as Lorquette and Burris were hounding him, and it just squeaked out of his hands to his twin brother, who lays it off the window. And I think Coach Harvey was just questioning the scoreboard for a brief moment, but that's right. 74-67 is the correct scoreline with 4:18 to play. Beacons have led the entirety of this second half and the majority of the first. Malik Lorquette, 4 fouls after getting called for 2 on the same possession. Still in the game. Coach Harris has gone with these 5 for the majority of the second half. Burris, Zayas, Olivia Rodriguez, McKenzie, and Lorquette. We'll see if he elects to change anything up. Of course, if we get very late and it's still close, expect to see Bobby Joy in there for free throw shooting purposes, likely in replace of Malik Lorquette, who is definitely the weak link when it comes to free throw shooting, but you also want him in there for rebounding, so pick your poison.
Double-edged sword. You want to keep the ball away from him on offense, but you want to keep him right on the ball on defense.
But Coach Harris, again, trusting his senior leader and the best player on the floor, Malik Lorquette, not to commit a 5th foul. They also need him in there because no one else can really match up with Connor Byrne, who has been the one player other than Castillo in this second half and Osorio when he's played, who's been able to take advantage of them offensively. Zayas, that was nearly a travel, but it's a turnover nonetheless.
Just a miscommunication. It looked like Malik was not ready to receive that pass down low.
Still plenty of time. 7-point game with 4 minutes to go is an eternity. And Salem State has just been so frustrating and impossible to put away.
Got Tommy Burris matched up with Connor Byrne down low.
Connor Byrne had the step on Burris, but Burris rips down the board. One final media timeout to go at the next whistle stoppage. Olivia Rodriguez Couple big threes in this second half for him. Zayas calls out the play with 12. Gets inside the paint, kicks out. Another three on the way. Long rebound, hauled in by Byrne. That's Jarrett Byrne. McDonald in and out. Connor Byrne loves that reverse layup. Such a delicate touch, and he's got two more. Lorquette looking a little bit tired. He has hardly left the floor tonight. Pull up. He has the mid-range down. Xavier McKenzie. Lead back to 7. Castillo into Connor Byrne. There's Burris. Here comes the double team. Little bit of a contest. Good play by McKenzie. Now off to the races. Zayas.
Slow it down here.
Yeah,
slow
very
it
smart.
Down. Do not want to rush anything here. They've got a nice 7-point lead, and shot clock still at 18, so they have time.
Burris.
That's a long 2 if it goes.
That is not his game, but we'll call it a pass to
There
Malik Lorquette for another 2. Actually, we'll call it a shot. That's the double-double if so.
There we go.
Green off the rim, and now Salem State running out of options, just trying to get the quick trigger 3, not falling. Beacons up by 9 as we approach 2 minutes to go, and they look to get up by double digits for the first time tonight.
Malik Lorquette now with his 4th straight double-double, his 8th on the season. An incredible run for the big man from the Beacons.
Zayas, great second half for him. Leaves 2 defenders in the dust. Gets the foul and will head to the line. And I think Salem State can sense that as stingy and as frustrating as they played, time's starting to run away. Be back on the air Thursday night, 6:45 for pregame. Westfield State, MassCAC rival of this Salem State team, will be in town.
This is now the largest lead of the game for the Beacons, their first double-digit lead. Something they expected to see maybe earlier in the game instead of 2 minutes left to go, but they'll take it.
Salem State will be at Westfield State on January 11th.
So both these teams looking forward to Westfield. Bit of a break in between the two, though.
Nice pass, easy deuce for Byrne. Will Salem State elect to foul, or they will try and play out one final possession of defense? No point fouling now, just trying to go for the steal. Zayas dances around everybody, finds Lorquette. But you always have to keep your eyes out because Zayas will fire to anybody at any time. After all that defense, foul whistled against Salem State. Free throws coming for Tommy Burris, who, again, Zayas and Lorquette will lead the way in terms of scoring, but Tommy Burris deserves to be one of the stars of this game.
No doubt. A surprising performance from Tommy Burris. He's not going to do everything. He's not going to do everything that you see on the stat sheet, but he's going to do a lot of things that make a difference.
Green misses the 2 inside, and now Salem State, couple of fouls to commit, but barring a lot of missed free throws and a lot of quick trigger threes, the Beacons will win and improve to 7-3. And the benches are going to start to change a little bit here. Aiden Olivier Lewis, no relation to Juvens Lewis, will check into the game, number 32 in blue, the 5'10 first-year player from Cambridge. Bobby Joy back in as well. Again, we expected this for any free throw shooting. Free throws missed, though. The slightest door still open. Pass inside. Burris had his arms wrapped around McDonald, who couldn't corral the pass. It'll stay on this end of the floor with 54.5 to go. Connor Byrne out. Jarrett Byrne. Ooh, and that's going to be 5. So Malik is done. Got ball, but got some wrist as well. So Olivia Rodriguez will check in. Malik Lorquette's day is done. It's another outstanding stat line for him. That first half, 17-6. He will finish today with 25 points, 12 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and a block.
It's incredible what he does day in and day out. Like I mentioned, 4 straight double-doubles, 8 in 10 games. He's incredible. He's a leader on this team, and he does everything they need.
Every single Beacon that has played tonight has scored, with the exception of Malik Brooms, who played very briefly and did not attempt a shot. Salem State can say the same outside of Olivia Lewis, who just checked in. So the offense is good once again, but Salem State conceding right around their average of 80-plus points per game and just unable to overcome that lead at any point. Beacons never got it past that 10-point mark, but they never surrendered it at all either, as Emmanuel Zayas tries to ice things here. Lead is still 7. Gets the first. It's going to be a long 49 seconds depending on what happens in the next possession for Salem State.
Absolutely. Zayas getting the job done there at the end.
Zayas and Joy, both outstanding free throw shooters. Castillo got left alone and cans it again. Biting on the fake were the Beaks, and Castillo having a great second half. And that's going to be a foul whistled against Jarrett Byrne. Right call, but still just a 6-point game. Zayas, who was 2 for 2 on his last trip, needs at least 1 to make this a 3-possession game.
This is editorializing, but there's a family over there in the Vikings fan section with a young man who just has to be another Byrne brother. He has the exact same face as the other 3. He's a few feet shorter than the others, but maybe Salem State is on an early recruiting trip over there.
Again, this is a 3-brother team. Liam Byrne, who we haven't seen tonight, he's only played in 5 games, just a sophomore. He's the tallest and lankiest of the 3.
Got to imagine he's got a future with this program for sure.
Absolutely, but certainly has big shoes, literally and figuratively, to fill, with Jarrett and Connor in front of him. Nice take by Olivia Lewis. Salem State will not go away.
The game is not over. It's definitely not over. This is a 2-possession game right now.
But Emmanuel Zayas continues to cash in at the free throw line. You knew him and Joy would be the 2 primary targets for the Beacons in these situations. They're good free throw shooters, but not only that, they're good free throw shooters late in games, which I think are 2 different categories. There are players that can shoot free throws, and then there are players who can shoot clutch free throws.
Absolutely.
The 3-point shooting barrage is checked in right now. Speed and 3-point shooting ability for Salem State. This is as small as they can go with no Byrne brother on the floor for the first time tonight.
They need one. Need a quick one here.
They get one. It's off the rim. One final rebound potentially for McKenzie. He's fouled, and that should put a cap on it. A really fun basketball game to watch. That the Beacons will continue their strong start to the season, as they are now 17 seconds in change from 7-3, with one final non-conference game to come on Thursday night.
They're getting hot at just the right time. They want to head into conference play with some momentum. You mentioned the strong teams that are waiting for them there.
Emmanuel Zayas now tied with Malik Lorquette for the game high. 25 points, 7 of 11 from the field, 3 of 5 from downtown, 8 of 8 from the free throw line, along with 5 assists and 5 rebounds. One final turnover, and the Beacons can run out the clock. Joy to McDonald, no shot needed, and the Beacons will win it by a final score of 87-78. Really, really fun game to watch and call, and the result obviously sends the fans on the opposite side of the Clark Gymnasium home happy.
This was an excellent win for the Beacons. They this is a team that was pretty evenly matched with them. They kept working and building that lead a little bit larger. It didn't get to double digits until the last 2 minutes of the game, and then that's when they really took over and extended that lead like they needed to and got the win here, and it was impressive.
The offense putting up 87 points. Great days once again for Lorquette, Zayas, and a really good game from Tommy Burris as well, chipping in with a dozen-plus points. We'll take a look at the final stats and what's coming up next after this short break and send you on your way on this Tuesday night. Once again, your final score, Beacons 87 and Vikings 78. We'll be right back with the postgame. Stay tuned.
Cheer for the stumbles. That he should have had that. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me.
UMass Boston was my first choice because when I came to the campus, I saw that there was a lot of diversity. There's a lot of people. Here there is a lot of international students, so it's really cool to meet people from different countries, different parts of the world. I'm Julia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
I'm Olivia Murphy. I'm from Canton, Massachusetts.
We're sisters. I play volleyball and she plays basketball. Here they have a freshman success community. So each major has their own community that you can join as a freshman, and you take classes with them, you do study groups with them. So it was really helpful getting to know people in your major right away.
So in health exercise sciences, we have an internship at the end, or it's so much better to have an advisor helping you out, telling you which classes to choose.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
College has given me the flexibility to pursue my passions and my interests, and I've recreated my identity for myself aside from just being an athlete.
My greatest personal discovery has been that I am capable of doing things that I didn't know I was capable of doing.
To be able to study what I wanted to and continue to play the sport I love, all of those things came together very nicely in one package in Division III. I did receive a non-athletic scholarship upon entering school.
I got the presidential scholarship, which was huge for me.
I think there's more opportunities for academic scholarships in Division III.
I did receive academic scholarships. Just being involved on campus, being a leader, all those things combined kind of get me recognized. It's a great experience for me.
cheer for the stumbles. The he should have had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
The University of Massachusetts Boston, with its scenic oceanfront campus, easily accessible to downtown Boston, is recognized as a model of excellence for urban public universities. 16 NCAA Division III sports are part of the more than 100 student organizations that create an engaging campus life in America's biggest and best college town. UMass Boston, Boston's urban public research university for the 21st century.
Division III allows you to give yourself to other things.
Having that free time allows me to pursue the things that I want to pursue.
Division III athletics affords students the opportunity to, engage in the other interests in their campus and in their lives outside of that sport.
It allows you to just be able to do everything you want to do. I wouldn't change it for the world.
Moving from Turkey, it was a rough journey for me because when you don't really speak the language that well and when you don't really fit in the crowd, it's very easy to disappear. But I decided not to give up, and UMass helped me. Comprehensive learning is being able to adapt to experiences and apply the things that I learned. Being an athlete and juggling academics helped me grow as a person, and things that I've learned, I was able to apply it in another field, putting them into everyday life. Developing comprehensive learning helped me prioritize certain things to make sure I get to where I want to be.
Paris changed my life, and I got there through UMass. Those very specific seminal moments in Paris, the subway. A man in a tuxedo walked in, and a woman in a long gown. And it was stunning. It all hit me. It was like a lightning bolt. There was this world of beauty and style that I wanted to be a part of. That was the beginning of the journey. And that all came through the University of Massachusetts. And that was really a key moment for me. That's one of those moments you never forget.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports. Yep.
We welcome you back one final time here to UMass Boston as we take a look at these final statistics from a 9-point victory for your Beacons this evening. 50% shooting, 40% from downtown. That's a lot of Malik Lorquette in the first category and Emmanuel Zayas in the second.
Absolutely. 40% doesn't exactly tell the story of three-point shooting in this game. The Beacons started off really cold and then stopped shooting threes for a while, and then when they picked it back up, they got hot. So they took good shots when they knew they couldn't make them.
You see the rebounding tight throughout. Another great day for Lorquette. Another double-double. That's 4 straight and 8 on the season for Malik. You see the assist-to-turnover ratio strong for the Beacons. 2.5 to 1. 20 assists, just 8 turnovers. And Salem State 1 to 1, which is still good for their own standards, but enough turnovers where the Beacons were able to find ways to extend that lead and ended up finishing off an 87-78 victory. We take a look at the individual stats next. You see Zayas and Lorquette, 25 apiece. A lot of that for Malik was in the first half, Zayas in the second, as he really turned it on from both the free throw line and from behind the three-point line. Connor Byrne and Castillo each had 19 for Salem State. Malik Lorquette, those 12 boards, again, contributing to another double-double for him. Jarrett Byrne had a double-double himself, 13 points, 12 rebounds for the forward of the two Byrne twins in the front court. The assists, Zayas and Burris each had 5. 4 different players for Salem State each had a trio of assists. Xavier McKenzie, active hands as always on the defensive end, 4 steals for him. McDonald and Osorio each had 2. Burris and Lorquette each had a block. It was not a block party this evening for either team, as Byrne and Byrne, the 2 Byrne twins, each had 2 as well. But it was a really well-played offensive game throughout and really well-played defensively in spurts as well. It really was a fun game to call.
Absolutely. You see, the 4 steals by Xavier McKenzie make a huge difference. He didn't have his I was going to say he didn't have his best game scoring. He had 14 points still as a freshman. That's incredible. But 4 steals, that's huge. Those active hands on defense I mentioned a few times. You never know who's going to pick it up for the Beaks, but steals are going to play a big component to their defensive game.
Part of a game where the Beacons had 5 players in double figures. Zayas and Lorquette with 25 apiece, McKenzie 14, and Tommy Burris, 6 of 10 from the field, had 13. And on Salem State side, they had 4 players in double figures, 19 apiece for Byrne and Castillo. That's Connor Byrne. Jared Byrne had 13, and Osorio had 12. We're getting up toward the end of the 2022 part of this season. As we take a look at what's coming up next for the Beacons, there's not too much, but we do have Westfield State on Thursday night. Rhode Island College, part of that men's-women's doubleheader at 1 o'clock and 3 o'clock on Saturday. And then off until after the new year at Castleton and Plymouth State before we will resume conference play at home against the Corsairs of UMass D on January the 11th. And that brings us to an end of another Beacon broadcast. We could not do it without this outstanding broadcast team with Michael Vesky, our producer, Josh Eastman, and Miranda Cuddy on camera, Tam Landry on graphics, Elena Albano, and Grace Kelly on replay. My outstanding broadcast partner, Max Clifford, and we could not do it without director and reigning broadcaster of the week, Gina Albano. I'm Mason Stauf saying so long from the Clark Athletic Center Gymnasium. Once again, your Beacons win it by a final score.